Okay, this is Spencer, your Tampa Bay wallpaper installer, coming to you from Apollo Beach on frame 2 of how to install Thibaut Grasscloth on a feature wall. Now, my feature wall is 9 feet of wallpaper high. So it is 10, 11, it's 13 feet high of a wall from the floor, but we're installing 9 feet of wallpaper. And so generally you want to add 2 inches to the bottom, 2 inches to the top, so 4 inches altogether for the elevation of the installation. And you can see the top of it at the top of your camera screen. So on frame 2, I want to show you, now my sizing has dried. And you know that's essential in order to make the wallpaper stick, in order to make the wallpaper come down easily. That's done. We use RX35, Romans 9.99. Now, I've come to the point at which I'm ready to install my wallpaper. Now, this particular grass cloth is 36 inches wide. Half of that would give you 18 inches. So, the middle of it is 18 inches. And so that's important. I want to mark the center of the wall covering, okay? I'm going to mark the center of the wall covering. And if you look at the top of my wall, can you see the laser line right where my finger is, the vertical red line going up? Well, that's a laser behind me projecting a plumb line. And I want to start my planning of the layout from that center line. I don't like hanging wallpaper starting in the middle because you always want to have the lead edge fresh. And what I mean by that is you want to be able to pull it off if you have to. So if you start in the middle, if you get to the other side of the middle an hour or so later, let me tell you something. If it's a fresh wall where you've just painted it, you know, within the last day or so, or even less than that, if you go to pull the paper off just to readjust it, you're going to come up with paint and everything else. And so that's something to keep in mind. Now, so what I'm going to do is go up to the top of the ladder, all right? Now, I'll bring you up there with me. And what I'm going to do is, so that you can understand what I'm doing, you know what, I forgot to put my earpieces on. You'll hear me better, trust me, I forgot. Can't remember everything. Connected, okay? You should be able to hear me better without echo or white noise. What I'm going to do when I get up there is I'm going to put the center of my line here against the laser line, and then I'm going to mark the edge of the wallpaper so that I can simulate installing it already. But I'm not going to install it. I'm going to start in the end. But I'm going to plan my layout from the beginning. So I'm just going to mark off the edge so that I know where to start my first layout sheet. So you understand the difference between starting in the middle and then starting the planning from the middle? We're going to start the plan from the middle. In that, the middle of the first sheet will be in the direct center of this feature wall. It has to do with symmetry. When you look at grass cloth or any feature wall, the center sheet should be centered in the center of the feature wall. It's not the case when you're laying out a whole room installation or 2 walls. That's not the case. Because when you do see the seams, your eyes are demanding symmetry, whether you know it or not. Look at somebody's face. If they were missing an ear, you would see a lack of symmetry. If you look at a feature wall and you see that the seam, especially on grass cloth, you're going to see the seams. If you see the seam 4 inches from the wall, say, what's that? It will only agree with your eyes if it's symmetrical. Okay, so you understand that. I'm going up there to do my markup. If you need to see my video on what to do if you fall off a ladder, just click on the next video. I'm only kidding. I'm just joking. Just kidding with you. blocking the red line, of course. Okay, there it is. There's another problem when you actually have a laser behind you. You will block the line, so you have to come up with ways. What I do is I run a strip from the side of, I run a strip of tape from the side of the side, so I'm not blocking it. And then I simulate my laser line. I shut the laser line off and I have it in tape. So, because I put the edge of the tape up against the laser line. All right, so now I know where my center is. So I have my paper in place, my center sheet in place. I'm just going to go mark the side where it ends. So, and that's it. That's it. Now, normally I don't suggest that you go marking up your wall, okay, with dark ink, okay. Please understand that is not what you normally do. Since we're dealing with a blue grass cloth, I'm making an exception. But I put at the top, I put a noticeable mark. Now, if you have like your wallpaper that goes in a kitchen or a hallway and it's white, and you happen to, I saw a guy, a chiropractor, he started the wallpaper job before he called me. He gets up 12 feet in the air. He takes this pencil mark. It goes up and down on his level. Like, I don't know how many times he needed it. Maybe he needed an optometrist. I don't know. But he made like a 1/4 of an inch mark on his wall. I'm exaggerating, 3/16. It's just a 16th off. Anyway, up and down, about the size of like a yard. I'm like, what did you do this for? Yeah, I understand. People, they're not used to doing it. I said, listen, he didn't hire me. He wanted to do it himself. I said to the wife, you should get rid of that line because it's going to show through your paper. You know, just a little suggestion. Okay, so I'm ready to install. In fact, our waste is only about 6 inches on each side. So it's good. We're not wasting that much. So I'm going to go out and glue this. Now, what am I using? Well, as I suspected, this particular Grasscloth, great backing. This stuff is awesome. I know from just the look of it, it requires Romans 880, heavy-duty, strippable, clear paste, because they don't want you discoloring the wallpaper with a non-clear glue. So that's it. I showed you how to do the layout, okay? So I'm going to start on the, your camera is over here, okay. So this side, I'm going to start on this side. Remember why I'm starting over there, because if I started in the middle, I would have to choose a side to hang from after that, right? The side that I don't choose to hang from or up against is getting dry. And then when I get to the other side of the wallpaper after I finish the second side, I'm sorry, after I finish the first side, do you understand what I mean? Like if I start on this side of the wallpaper, then an hour later I get over here and I say, oh, you know what, let me pull this paper up. No good. So I'm going to start on one side so that the end of the paper against which I'm hanging the next sheet, in order for that to be a fluid system, it needs to be newly installed within the last half hour or so. Half an hour is a long time, but 15 minutes to keep it where you can pull it off, put it back on. Believe me, not with Grasscloth, but with almost every other wallpaper, you gotta pull, especially when you wrap around corners, outside corners or inside corners. You find yourself after like putting the wallpaper in place, you don't like it, you want to pull it off. Can't do it like this, so please don't make that mistake. Okay, I'm going to go out and glue this paper on my table, and so I will see you on the next frame, on frame 3. Okay, thanks. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. Click on like, make a comment. Show me how you do yours. I want to know how you do it. Okay, this is Spencer, your Tampa Bay wallpaper installer. You can reach me at 813-666-7002 or www.spencercolgan.com. Thank you. See you on the next one.